Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you are doing well. We are back in Minecraft, and today I got something pretty neat. Actually, you know what? I have not got something neat to show you today. I've got something pretty dang awesome to show you today. But first, do you know what I really don't like? And you may agree with me on this. So you go onto a server, or you're playing a map, and the way the map tries to serve you information goes something like this. Okay, so that's a little bit anticlimactic, because that's not the worst example by a long stretch, but I think you get what I mean. I don't like the use of the scoreboard sidebar to give you information, because for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think it's just pretty bland. Second of all, I kind of think it's unintuitive. Like, if I want to find my meh factor, which is 22 by the way, it's not really super easy to grasp just at a quick glance. It's like, I see a couple of letters and then the numbers. And yeah, it's just a little bit unintuitive. But most importantly, what I think it is I think it kind of breaks immersion a lot of the time. So this brings us on to the subject of today's video, which is custom HUDs in Minecraft. Now, I actually did do a video on this about a year ago, but in that time, a lot of stuff has changed, and we can create something really, really cool today. So what I've made for you today is essentially a new custom mana bar. Now when I was actually making this, I couldn't help but think just how mod-like this felt. I'd like to know what your impressions are in regards to that. But anyway, let me actually show you this guy in action. So when I press this button, the mythical, fabled mana bar appears on the side of our screen. So it's right there, bottom left corner. You can't miss it unless you're blind, which you might be, which in case I'm sorry. So as you can see, this guy is working in tandem with the health bar, the hunger bar, the XP bar. There is a lot of bars. There's a lot of bars in this game. So currently it's actually empty. It's devoid of mana. But we can change that by collecting some crystals. So if I actually press this button, we will spawn some crystals in the area. So you can see some crystals are there. And if we collect these, this will restore some mana. So as you can see, there's also a number associated with it, just to make it a little bit easier. And every crystal will basically restore 2 points of mana, all the way up to the maximum of 10 points. There's 8 points, and the last crystal is snidely over this gap, if I can't fall, the challenges we face today. And 10, this is the maximum. So when you actually reach 10, you'll get a little bit of an animation, because that is the maximum, because the mana is just dying to escape from your body. It's shaking. Right, so you may be wondering, what does mana do? And the answer to that question is not too much, not too much. I gave it a little ability just to kind of tie things together. So if you actually hold the crystals in your hand and you release them by pressing Q, it'll actually be blasted forward a little bit, kind of like a little bit of teleportation. So let me show you that. If I just sort of, I'm running this direction and I want to make a jump perhaps, like here, and I press Q, I'll actually kind of make the jump that I normally couldn't have. So do that again, jump, jump. It's actually pretty fun. But yes, that's the mana bar. I think it's pretty dang cool. So I'm now going to show you how it works and why this is so great. Okay, so to explain what this is and how it works, I'm going to re-demonstrate the method I showed a year ago, just to compare the two and show you why this new method is so much better. Okay, so on the screen right now, we have on the left what I've been showing today, and on the right, the old method from a year ago. Now, first of all, what exactly are these graphics? This is actually pretty simple. Both of them are basically just items that have been retextured, remodeled, and realigned to hell and back. So, the one on the left is basically, if I open up my inventory, it's basically just a GUI icon, which has been, like I said, retextured and remodeled. So as you can see, I can actually drag it around my screen and then put it back. That's what that is. Now, the one on the right is actually similar, except instead of the GUI icon, we've actually remodeled the first-person hand rendered item. So you can actually see if I pick it up, my hand now renders. Now the bar, now hand, render, bar, thing. That's actually what that one is. So you've probably already begun to notice some of the advantages of the newer system compared to the older system, but let me just point them out anyway. As you can see, when I walk around, the older version is actually affected by gravity and motion. So as I sort of walk around, it sort of bobs back and forth. And that is because the first-person hand render is always affected by gravity. So if I just switch to like the rails, then they also bob back and forth. And that's the same with the with this. And that's not really to be expected from stuff that displays on the screen. Now, in a similar vein, it's actually affected by the lighting. So if I actually look up, you can see that it darkens and lightens depending on where I'm looking. Also kind of funny is that because it's an item, you can basically hit people with the bar, which isn't really what you want from stuff to stay on the screen. Whereas on the left, none of this is a problem at all. Now, a year ago, we did not actually have dual wielding. The second hand slot was a thing we could only have dreamt of. And what this meant was that you couldn't actually render two things at the same time. So if you want to display this on your screen, that's fine. But what about when you want to go fight monsters with your sword? It suddenly disappears, which is obviously not ideal at all. But now that we have two slots, we can now render two different instances at the same time, which is fantastic. It doesn't interrupt gameplay anymore. Something else I thought was really, really good about this is that because we're using the GUI icon rather than the hand model, it actually updates instantaneously. So if I actually were to just go on this down here and drain my mana, as you can see, the bar basically updates instantly. There's no flickering or anything. Same can be done like that. No flickering at all. Compare that to the old method. If I actually just switch between two slots, you can see that it's not instant at all. It sort of droops down and it's a flicker, and if you actually switch in between things, it's not seamless and it's not very convincing. But anyway guys, that is pretty much all there is to it. I really like this. I think this is really cool. I think it's really solid compared to the previous instance, and I'm kind of excited to see what could come of this. But anyway guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, the like is of course always much appreciated. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.